Welcome to English with Eve Lexis, brought to you by Ivanka Learning Center. Again, welcome to my classroom. So I just want to let you know that your time, when it comes to teaching this, it's something that I don't take lightly. So I appreciate you supporting this movement. Really is what I'm trying to have here. It's a movement because I want you to be successful. I just don't want to be one of those when one of our people, just start speaking well and they just laugh. I don't want to be one of those. I want to make sure that I equip you so that way you can go after the next high-paying job. I want to open your eyes on certain things so that way you can be more successful. You don't have to have a low paying jobs. You don't have to hide, okay? You can come out and be yourself, okay? But you gotta open up your minds to learning, and together we're gonna make it. Together we're gonna impact the world on that sense. I want you to be successful, okay? This is what I want. All right, so with that, we are going to talk about verbs, and I cannot emphasize enough how important for you to know your verbs. We touch on a lot on regular verbs, but now we're gonna turn the focus now on irregular verbs. Okay, regular verbs are easy. Once you know one, you know all. But irregular verbs, there are some patterns that are found in irregular verbs that you can actually follow that will help you, okay? And we're gonna see some of those in this video, and then of course we're gonna see some more in the next video. But one of the things that we will also focus on later is what we call phrasal verbs. These are very important. Americans use phrasal verbs a lot. So I want to make sure that you get to know those. Okay, as you can see, there are some changes in how we teach. We're not going to teach you the same way, the same way other people have been teaching English, okay? Because it's just proven that it's not working. So we want to switch. We don't want to follow that traditional way of teaching English, okay? So we're gonna teach you a lot about culture and stuff like that. Remember, language is culture for the most part, right? Meaning you can't just learn a language only in books. Of course, you're just gonna know beautiful words and all that stuff, and depending on what you're trying to do with the language, I get that. But to make connection, you gotta know. You gotta understand the culture. When someone who's from Cap Haitian is talking to me, they don't make the same quick connections that they do when they're talking with somebody else who came from Cap Haitian. The only problem is I don't always understand a lot of the things that they are saying. This is what I'm trying to tell you. It's important. But the moment I know some of those words that they use in Cap Haitian, then I'm able to make that connection a lot faster with them. You see, we come from the same place, same country, but because we're not from the same area, because they have different dialects, different ways of speaking, and neither myself nor that person is not able to make that connection very quickly. But I can see when it's somebody else who's from the same area, the connection made very quickly. And they relate with each other very quickly. So, which means that they are able to do business with that person. They are able to go to the same church with that person very quickly. They are able to do a lot of things with that person. They are able to support each other. And that's what I'm trying to do here. I want you to take advantage of everything that's in this country, because it's a country that has a lot to offer. And it's unacceptable for you to leave your country and to come here and not able to take advantage of everything that's in this country. So let's do it together. All right, so share, subscribe, okay? It's a movement. So together we'll make that impact. Okay, so irregular verbs. Those verbs to have, to be, and to do, we already talked about those. Of course, if you haven't, certainly I encourage you to go ahead and watch that video. Very quickly, okay, so the base form, okay, so you have to have has, had. To be, of course, I am, he is, I was, you were, they were, and then been, had been. Okay, so that's the base form, past tense, and then the past participle. To do, you have does, that's the, again, base form, but that's the third person singular. Now, does, as you can see, they're not following any of the patterns that we learned with when we were learning together about regular verbs, right? So to go, you have goes, you add an es, I went, that's the past tense, and of course gone. Okay, so one of the reasons why I've never really said oh, irregular verbs, third person singular, add an s. No, because look, I mean, you have here. I don't just add an s after have. I have has. Of course, a lot of those verbs, they do, you can add an s in the third person singular, but have is not one. Go is not one either, because I don't just say goes and add an s, I put es. To do is another one. I don't just say does, I say does, put e and then I add an s. So that's why. But again, most of them do take an s on the third person singular, which we'll see now. All right, so here's the patterns that's found among irregular verbs. Verbs where the base form, past tense, and past participle are the same. Well, like caught, everything is the same. Look at that. Caught, caught, caught. Base form, past tense, past participle. Of course, third person singular, he caught takes an s. Hit, hit, hit. Okay? Let, to let, let. Of course, he lets, that's the third person singular. Put. Okay, he puts. All right? Bet, right? He bets. Shed. So all of those, the base form, the past tense, and the past participle are the same. More of that. You've got burst, hurt, read. Now read is different. Here's why it's different. Read, the past tense and the past participle, the spelling is the same, but the pronunciation in the past tense and the past participle is different. I read, or he reads, third person singular with an s. I read, past tense, I read, past tense. So the past tense is just different. Okay? The pronunciation of the past tense is just different. Of course, bade, okay, raid, spread, these are short I, it's a short vowel sound. Spread, cost, okay, cast, fit, quit, and then Nate. Think we have more? Shed, set, shut, split, spit, sweat, thrust, okay, th, so your tongue needs to be between your teeth, thrust, upset, wed, wet. So these were the verbs where the base form, the past tense, and the past participle are all the same. Now, verbs where the base form now in the past tense are the same, but the past participle is different. Okay? Of course, the third person singular ends with an s. So you've got to beat. There aren't a lot of those, but you've got to beat, for instance, it's beaten. Okay, he beats. Okay, so to beat, beaten. And then of course you've got browbeat, browbeat, browbeaten. That verb, it's not a verb that is used a lot, you know, but what it means is, it means when you're trying to intimidate or coerce someone into doing something by using abusive language, okay? Abusive words. So that's what to browbeat means, okay? All right, so let's move on. More, now it's where, these are the verbs where the base form and past participle are the same, but the past tense is different. So the past tense is the one in the middle is different. Base form, come. Past participle, come. Past tense, came. Okay? Run, rain, run. Run, run, rain. Become, became, become. Okay? That's the past participle. Base form is the same with the past participle, but the past tense is different. Overcome, overcame, overcome. Overrun, overran, overrun. Outrun, outrain, outrun. Okay? Now, these are verbs where, based on this, the base form is different, but the past tense and the past participle are the same. Of course, the third person singular ends with an S. So we have bring, like you bring something. Brought, brought. That's the way you pronounce this. Brought, brought. Buy, but. Win, won, won. Base form different. Past tense and past participle are the same. Catch, this is an interesting one. Before you add an S to the third person singular, you add E first. So catches. And the past tense and the past participle is caught. Okay, caught. You catch something. Oh, I caught it. Catch it. Right? Attraper. Find, found, found. Have, of course, the third person singular, you don't just add an S. It's a whole different ball game. You definitely have that. H-A-S, which is has. And then, of course, everything else is had, had. Hear, heard, heard. Tell, it's told, told. Okay? Just more of those. You've got lose, lost, lost. You've got make, that would be made, made, made in America, made in Haiti. Say, you've got said, said. He says, okay? He says, all right? Or she says, said, said. Sell, he sells, okay? Sold, sold. Sit, sat, sat. He sits. Base form is different. Past tense and past participle are the same. So stand would be stood, stood. Teach would be taught, taught. He teaches. You add an E before you add your S. He teaches. So that would be taught, taught. Okay? Tell would be told. Okay, he tells, told, told. Think. Okay, think. Your tongue needs to be between your teeth. So think. Of course, he thinks. Third person singular, S. But the past tense and the past participle are thought. Okay? Thoughts. Your thoughts on that. Perfect. Understand. That would be understood, understood. Build, built, built. He builds. Buy would be bought, but. That's how you pronounce it. Okay? Again, taught, thought. Of course, the one previously was caught for catch up or catch. And then but. And then, of course, brought for bring, for buy. Now, here's the thing on this. I just want to bring that to your attention. Of of course, the base form is different, and then the past tense and the past participle are the same. But another thing that I want to add to it is, in addition to that, you also have a long E here, that's bleed. But the long E changes to a short E sound, which is bled, bled now. So I want to bring that to your attention. Feed, fed, fed. Meet, met, met. Lead, led, led. Breed, bread, bread. Breastfeed, breastfed, breastfed. To breastfeed someone, a baby. Okay? So the long E, right? The long E, bleed. Long E, how do I know it's a long E? Well, because the vowel says its name, it's bleed. Now I know it's a short E. How do I know that? Because the vowel doesn't say its name anymore. It says bled. Remember, E sound and then E. Okay, E. Right? That's the short vowel sound. That's what's happening here with those verbs. Okay. So now its base form is different. Past tense and past participle are the same. But the problem is, first, the long E changes to a short E. Okay? So that's number one. And you also add a T in the end for both past tense and past participle. Okay, keep, kept, C-E, kept, and then of course you add a T, kept. Feel, felt, felt, or he feels, that's the third person singular. Sleep, he sleeps, slept, slept. There's only two. Okay, keep, kept, kept. Weep, wept, wept. Sweep, of course, swept, swept. And then creep, of course, crept, crept. Okay? Now, here's another good one. That one, these are the verbs where the base form differs from the past tense in past participle, but and of course the third person singular ends with an S, and the long O sound changes to a short O sound, like shoot, okay, shot, overshoot, overshot, overshot. Okay, so the long O sound then changes to a short O sound. And of course, you also have the long I sound now, where it changed to O for their past tense in their past participle, like shine, for instance. Shone, shone. But this can also be shined, shined, which you'll see later. But its usage, it's more in the American English. This is more the British English. Okay, so outshine, outshone, shone. Okay, so this is where the long I changes in OU for both past tense and past participle. You've got bind, bound, bound, find, found, found. Grind, ground, ground. Wind, round, wound. Okay? Important. Alright, so verbs where long I sound change to O in their past tense and past participle, which we talked about earlier forms. But again, shine, shone, shone, that's more common in British English. And then shined, shined, right? Shine, shined, shined. So this is more Americans. Now it's not an irregular anymore, it's more regular. Because remember, and also one of the things that, and we will have another lessons on that, you will find verbs that are both, can be both conjugated in as a regular verbs and then also as an irregular. Like they can take both forms, regular and irregular. Almost kind of like this. Here it looks like here it's totally irregular, but here it's definitely regular. So you have verbs that are like that, which I have a list for you that I will show you on the next video. So now you got verbs where the short I sound changes to you in both the past tense and the past participle. Okay, so now it's a short I sound because I can't say swine, it's swing. Okay, swing, swung, swung. Spin, short I sound still changes to you. Spun, spun. Sting, stung, stung. Dig, dug, dug. Sling, slunk, slunk. Restring, we strong, we strong. Fling, flung, flung, flung. Clang, clong, clong. Okay? Now you've got the short I sound changes to A in both the past tense and the past participle, like sit, sat, sat, which is what you're looking here. Okay? So I want at least to give you, okay, an introduction really on irregular verbs and found actually the patterns that we can kind of see that are going on in the irregular verb world and kind of point those out to you to help you understand and be able to conjugate those verbs. Okay, so I'm gonna stop here, but I'll see you on the next video. Again, thank you for watching. Keep on learning, keep on sharing, keep on showing up, and I will keep on coming. Until then, see you next time. Thank you.